Welcome to Voices of the Plaza, the podcast, hosted by Peggy MacArthur. This is where we amplify stories of empowerment, innovation, and success from the heart of the Global Business Plaza. Each week, Peggy introduces us to one of the creative business people, entrepreneurs, and industry experts who are shaping their fields and redefining success. Together, we'll explore unique journeys, highlight remarkable expertise, and uncover the inspiration behind their success.
Welcome to Voices of the Plaza, and it is going to be a fun one today because Oli is here, and Oli brings joy. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and let everyone know what you do.
Well, first, thank you so much for being there live on the replay team. I would like to acknowledge that you are placing some time of your day with us, and I'm really grateful. And even in the replay team, you never know the ripple effects that you are going to create to your audience days, weeks, months, or even years after. Of course, I'm really happy to reply to any of your questions, even if you are in the replay team. But of course, if you are watching this in 40 years in the future, I don't know if I will be able to reply it alive, but maybe there will be an AI bot replying on my behalf to from any of my questions. So my name is Oli, and officially Olivier from Belgium. And I am right now living in my 50-year revolution. So I will be 50 in a few months on the 21st of June. And after quite a while of struggles in my life, 6 years ago, I decided, okay, now it's a time to choose. And I chose languages and cultures. And although we are not able to listen to the dogs of Peggy, there are some dogs on the street, so I apologize if there are always dogs somewhere, And
There's
I
always
decided,
dogs if Peggy's around.
yeah, exactly. Even outside in my street, there are dogs. So my name is Oli, and 6 years ago, I decided to tap into languages and cultures, especially language. So about that, there are two pivotal persons. Both are in the other world since more than 30 years. The first person is my grandfather, and he gave me as a heritage an amazing dictionary that I'm going to tap into later. Um, and then the second person is my French teacher. I was not really good at school. And at the same time, being in his classroom was amazing, was epic, because I will always. I'm still not having investigation about his first name, but I will always remember his poetry, his book readings, and one movie that I came to watch again thanks to Dr. Henry Cameron from GoBrunch, Metropolis, that is 98 years old, and that I invite our audience to watch again, because this is the perfect segue about I'm going to talk about languages and connecting multiple things. And so languages, because I'm loving languages really since more than 30 years. And I came to discover Italian 18 years ago, in 2007. And then 2008, it was done, 60 hours of training. And 2008, I was visiting Rome. I was like, oh, let's put my toes in the bathroom already. And I was speaking Italian. So I'm loving to talk Italian at any occasion. So I can say, um, um, allo? No, pronto? I don't know. But mi chiamo Oli. So vengo da Bruxelles, ho 49 anni e sono veramente felice di parlare in italiano con lei. And so I was saying that my name is Oli, I'm 49 years old, and I'm really happy to talk in Italian. But of course, you wouldn't understand if you are not speaking this language. But this was my first adventure. And so I am natively speaking French, Dutch, and English and Italian. And in Belgium, the three official languages are French, Dutch, and German. Although I was not having the mandatory to learn German, ich spreche nicht Deutsch, but I can say wunderbar, I can say schnell Autobahn. That's for the car passionate, by the way. Dankeschön, bitteschön, the classics, you know. And languages and cultures is amazing. And I can talk for hours, as you guess, but I'm really happy to let Peggy ask me any of the questions. And if you are live, or even the replay team, feel free to ask any question because we value your time. Thank you.
Absolutely. And yes, jump in on the chats. I will pull the questions up if you have any questions. So I have a question for you. What was the first language that you learned? Like as a child, what was the first language that you spoke?
French.
French?
French is my native language.
Okay. So
And and then I can say also something really interesting is that before even learning Dutch, because it's mandatory, it's not my favorite language, but it was mandatory because Belgium is bilingual. Even before learning Dutch, I was grasping some words in Wallon. And Wallon, because in Belgium there is the Wallonia, Wallon, and then there is the Flanders, the Flandre, the Dutch part. And but I was living in the Ardennes or in the south of Belgium where we speak French and we speak also Wallon. It's a kind of a French dialect. It's like let's say Sicilian for Italy, or so it was really interesting. Like the word that I was thinking in my mind is ufti, which means it's an interjection to say wow or woo, like when you are surprised.
So what was it that made you passionate about learning languages? Does it come easy for you, or do you just love the ability to communicate? What is it that like made you kind of fall in love with learning languages?
For me, it's the fact that when we are surrounding ourselves with people speaking another language that you don't understand, I don't know about you all, but for me, I have this intrinsic need to understand what they say. Not because they might say stupid things about me, but it's more about like partaking into the conversation. I was and still I'm a shy child. I still have my inner child within me, so I'm not easy to approach. But when you crack the shell, then you can call me a friend, and I'm really happy to talk in your language. Even saying two words in another language is amazing. It's what I call the heart connection. Like you can learn any language that you like to learn and speak with the person when the person is realizing that you are speaking their mother language, like oh wow, because you are entering into their space. You are removing your English shoes and you are taking their Italian shoes. And so, for instance, I take Italian for example, and people were amazed. Like they were amazed not only about the fact that I was speaking Italian after 60 hours of training, but also because I was visiting more cities than them in their whole life. Because I was from 2008 to 2023. That was the last time I went in Italy. Then I was, or 24, I don't know, but I was visiting 60 plus cities, small villages or big cities. So it was like incredible to see the diverse way of speaking Italian. So I might have lots of nuggets to tell you about the diversity, whether it's about in French, in Italian, or in English.
So I think you touched on something that's really important, and that is when you speak in, when you put yourself away and you speak in someone else's native language, even if you're not really good at it, it opens up a door and it allows you to see into culture. It allows you to see a deeper part of the story, right? And I think that's really important. I only speak English. However, I actually speak Navajo as well. Um,
Oh, uh,
it's it's not a very, useful language for me at this point, but I did live on the Navajo Indian reservation for 12 years, and my kids are Navajo. And so I learned it, because I knew people were talking about me behind my back, but mainly because because it does say something. It says like, "Hey, I'm making the time to learn about you and not making you conform to me." And I think that when we do that, that really, that shifts the power dynamic. That says, "Hey, I care about you. I want to learn about you." And you have a really interesting way about teaching language, and like, you actually help people really like let their brain wrap around it. So let's talk about what led you on
Yeah.
that path.
But
Yeah.
yeah. But before that, thank you so much for telling that. Something that I would like to share, and there is an anecdote. A few years ago, I was in an event, and then I was seeing someone from Africa descent living in Belgium, and I was telling him, how much language do you speak? And he was telling, first, I'm only speaking French. I barely speak Dutch and English. It's really low. But then I was thinking, are you sure? I was cracking. I was investigating, but then it came to me. He was saying, "Oh, I also speak Swahili." So what I would like also to invite our audience and invite you is that you are not only speaking quote unquote English, because Navarro might not be a language that is trendy to, compared to Spanish, to German, to French, whatever. But it is important to say that this is not a waste quote unquote language,
Exactly.
because your brain is trained to
Mhm.
integrate information uh, from another language. So it means that for any future language that you will learn, even if it's Japanese or Polish or whatever, or Russian, that is really far from Navajo, you will have better predisposition to learn this new language compared to someone who is only speaking language English, and that's it. So repeat your question, because I have a fish memory right now.
That's okay. I love that you gave more value anyway. Bah humbug was my questions. But seriously, the question I wanted to ask is like, you have a really unique way of teaching people language where their brain can kind of grasp it, where it's not so hard, because to me, when I think of learning another language, I get like, I'm like, it's hard, so talk about that, how you came about doing that. Is it like kind of naturally how you learn language and you learned how to teach people, or how did that come about?
Well, let me unpack for you a little bit quick, but a little bit my journey. So in 2019, end of 2019, I was having a contract ended in the space, and I was finding myself to the language path, and then I discovered trainers training, discovered some aspects pedagogical that I was not understanding, and then in 2022, I discovered my new community, that is new language. Effective language coaching, new language, new heart. There are lots of things into the umbrella of effective or efficient language coaching. And it's using neuroscience plus the coaching structure to allow the learners to be autonomous. Because what I see and I can rant for hours, so I will be quick, but what I see right now on the school system that I really crave to see change is the fact to see the sage on stage, the teacher, the provider information, and then picking his brain to transfer into other brain, like the best synonym I see is lobotomy, but it's not really lobotomy, but there is a way to engage the learners for their autonomy. And so I came to this acronym of JAM: joy, autonomy, and motivation. Motivation is like motivation and vision, but it has to be neuroscience, brain friendly, whatever, brain-friendly teaching, brain-friendly coaching, to integrate the aspect of the neuroscience, to know that there is the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. I'm not going too much to the details about that, but this is what is fascinating to me, because it's about really giving the power also to the learner, not giving them the fish, but telling them, oh, how do we fish? And before you come to another question, I would like also to rant a little bit about this sad thing that we say, oh, we need native speakers. Like, for teachers and coaches, they have to be native speakers of the language. Of course, it's reassuring to envision someone who is speaking the language that you want to learn for decades. But at the same time, learners that learn new languages, I think, are able even to become even better teachers, because it's fresh in their memories. They know how it came from. Us, we have to relearn. Oh, is da 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 da. It's automatic in our brain, but where does it come from? And it's really important to say that fresh, recent learners that are learning a language are equal talented as native speakers, because especially even they are knowing the language. It's fresh in their brain. So as it's fresh, they can explain to you, oh, because it comes from this and this, rather than to the native speaker who was learning that 30, 40 years ago, in my case. That's why I'm really happy to relearn French, because it's also another saying that I am not an ambulatory dictionary. There are things that I still learn in French, in my native language.
I think there's two things that I really want to touch on that you said. First of all, is the autonomy. When you give people autonomy to learn and allow them, I mean, not everybody learns in the same way, but given the space, most people know how they learn if they're given the space to figure it out. And so I think that's really, really important to for anybody to be successful at learning anything, is giving them that space to figure, take what they need and lean into different things, and maybe pull back from other things. So I think that's really, really important. I love that you mentioned that, because I'm just a big believer in letting people act like people. Nobody likes to be told how to do something. They like to be shown how we can do this together, versus you have to do it my way if you want to succeed, and nobody likes that. So I love that you brought that up. The other thing that, like, I hadn't thought about it until you said it, but it's so true, and that is, a native speaker versus somebody that's new to it. So as most people know, I've been a professional photographer for 37 years, and I created this course about 4 years ago now. And one of the things I taught was a basic 101 photography, right? And then when I was having people beta test the course and go through it, people are like, this is not basic 101. And I was like, what? Because, I've had a camera in my hand since I was 10 years old. So I forget what it's like. I forget those first steps. And sometimes that's the downfall, is that when it's something that we've always done or we've done for years and years, we forget what it's like when we first walk into that space, whatever it is, whether it's language or photography or cooking or whatever it is. We forget those basic things that we have to do first before anything else, or we have to learn first before anything else. So that's a really good point. I love that you brought that up, because sometimes that's not the best case scenario. So I love that you said that.
Thank you. And I will say also that it's also, it depends on each even right now it's like each 6 months, but even 20 years ago, each 5 years there are new things that change. I was blessed to have multiple lives in the past, including learning how to learning photography, but it was in 95. And of course I was going through something that probably the new generation will not discover, or really hardly, like the process with the red chamber, and then the bathing with a revelator, fixator, and then the drying, these kind of things. And so it makes it things in perspective. Like right now it's like click 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 click, but of course it's like more than that. But at previous time we had to ensure that it was well rolled up, then open it, and then taking the role, making to develop. So right now there are gazillion things that we did in the past that now is like click, and then so it's easier, but the theory is still there. The theory is still there, so it's really important to have the theory if you want to have amazing pictures.
Exactly. You got to know the principles. And I'm sure that's the same with language. You need to know
Oh, yeah.
the principles. You need to know the basics first,
Yeah.
the building steps, the block, the
Yeah.
first step, the second step to build on.
And that's why I'm really blessed that you talk about that, because we probably, and me first, not realizing the value, the gems, the amazing preciousness that our skills are, that for us it's normal, but for someone else, like, what, they are really, so it's really also to remind ourselves that we are expert. It's there is no place for imposter syndrome when we are having years and decades of experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me why you love doing what you do.
I love it because I don't see anything else that I could do except to create drawings. I love also poetry, cultures, but language is really the bridge between hearts. The best scene, and I was referring to Metropolis. The scene at the end is the one that I remember when I was watching it when I was an adolescent. The rest of the movie I don't really remember, but the last scene where there was the guy which is called the head, that is meeting the guy that is like the arms and the legs, and they try to make peace, but they cannot. And then it requires, then there is the lady that says to the other guy, you are the mediator, you are the heart. It's the heart role to be the bridge between the head and the hands and the legs. Because Metropolis, like, if you don't know, there is the city up to the sky, like the jet set, and then the below city, which are the workers that are tirelessly working with machines. And then there is the heart, that is the bridge between the two. So in the language, when we are connecting the heart and the body with the brain, that's my motto. When you are learning a language, embark your heart. That means that you are having the joy, the heart. When you are knowing the science behind, you understand, because the brain emits vibrations, but the heart emits even powerful more vibrations than the brain. Like the brain, probably it goes like this. The heart is go like, whoa, it's like 1 or 2 meters of vibrations. And because when there is the play, when there is the game, we connect with also with our inner child. Because when we are learning a language as a child, we are playing, we are using games, and it helps us to learn and know, I have to learn language, blah 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 blah. No, we have to play, we have to have joy, and then we learn easier the language. And knowing also how our brain function makes also easier, because we can learn even in diffuse mode when we are not focused. When we are listening loosely to radio, we think of, why do I listen to the radio if I'm not paying attention? But the subconscious is capturing without our awareness. Like our body is a fantastic proof of that. We are doing things biologically that we are not even aware. There are billions and billions of cells that are functioning, born and dying, even like thousands per hour, and we are not aware about that. We are, oh shit, I have this cell that is dying. Oh, what I'm going to do? No, we are not aware about that. So it's really to realize that we are powerful, more powerful than we think.
Ah, so true. So true. So true. So, what would you like our listeners to know? What tip or what bit of wisdom would you like to drop on our listeners?
Well, it's to say that it might be more difficult to learn a language as you are adult than you are a child. But at the same time, it's your choice. Probably when you were a child at school, you didn't have the choice to learn even what we call dead languages like Latin. Of course, Latin is really important because for Latin subcategories like Spanish, Portuguese, it makes sense. But I will say do it with joy, make it fun. With the fun is the oil of the language learning. It makes things more smoothly without any without, you know. And it's also to take any occasion. If you are having a time where you are not doing anything, find a way, even 1 minute or even 5 minutes when we are waiting the train. Try to have your radio in the language that you are wanting to learn, or a piece of paper or whatever. You know, we are having so much technology that we there is no excuse. It's just like it's not about to shame you, but it's what are your values. Of course,
Mhm.
if you are not having the value to learn a new language, it's okay. It's just like it's something also I have to say to myself when I'm going to try to learn Spanish. There is no excuse. Like non hablo español is not a valid answer. I think you can try to speak Spanish. And of course, the first ever words that I was listening in the movies about Spanish is the famous "Hasta la vista, baby."
There you go. Well, I really, really enjoyed talking to you and getting to know more about you.
Me
If
too.
if people want to refrench their brain, they can find you at the Global Business Plaza and go down to the
Yeah.
directory and just
Yes.
find you and schedule a time with you and find out why they should work with you. Now, do you help people speak only French, or are there other languages that you help them speak?
I want to help them in a language. Of course, I cannot speak Japanese or Polish, although I can say arigato gozaimasu, sayonara, not arakiri, that's another way, but or dzień dobry. In fact, I'm passionate about language, so even if I will not be able to teach the subjunctive imperfect of Polish, I'm really happy to guide them into any language, by the way, because there are, even if I don't know the language, I know how they could learn the language, the structure, the how it works with the brain. But of course, I can easily help in French. Although it's not my favorite language, I can speak. I can speak Dutch, so I can help them and teach the basic Dutch. Same with Italiano, uno, due, tre, and that's it. Of course, English. We all speak English, but let me tell you also there are other something that I would like, if I have little time to talk about, is that
Absolutely.
there is no one English, there is no one French. We have also when you are learning a language, it's also important to know where do you want to practice it. Are you if it's online, then you can do it in France French way. But if you are going to Montreal, there are words that are not existing in France or in Belgium, like tuc, for instance, which is the winter hat. So you have also to tap into the locality. And the best example is that I have to catch myself because I'm living in Belgium. I'm right now, I'm voicing articles, and they talk about 70 and 90. And of course, in France, it's 70 and 90. I never know why it's so complex for them. But in Belgium, it's even simpler because in Belgium, I would say 70 and 90. But and if you are in Belgium and you say 70 and 90, the people will know that, oh, you are from France. It's like, if you are talking about asking someone to give to you their rubber, they will probably know that you are in UK, because rubber in US doesn't mean the same thing as rubber in UK. That's, yeah, an anecdote that was really fun. It's really funny. So it's also to tap into the locality. And I see Henry Cameron. Thank you so much for being part of the audience. Let me say that Henry Cameron is an amazing human being, also in the Global Business Plaza and also in GoBrunch. And feel free to ask me any question. No hablo español, but I'm really happy to learn Spanish, by the way. So me llamo Oli, and estoy muy feliz. That's it.
It has been so fun. Thank you so much. And again, seriously, you should definitely book a conversation with Oli and find out how he can help you learn your language and grow your mind and grow your community. And not only that, even if you don't speak to him about language, you should just have a conversation with him because he will bring joy to your life. So again, thank you guys. I will see you next Thursday, and make sure you check out Oli and all the other amazing businesses in the
Last
Global
but not
Business
least,
Plaza.
if I
Oh,
may,
did
last but not least,
absolutely, absolutely.
for the last seconds, I would like to dedicate this session to my dad. This is a
Aw,
picture of me and my dad in '95. Me as
aw.
an adolescent and my dad. And I say that because my dad is aging right now, and he's having some difficulties. He went to the hospital early July, and so he's doing a bit better right now, but it's still not smooth. But I'm praying for his recovery. So that's a session that is really truly dedicated to my dad. Thank you.
Oh, that's very sweet. And is your dad watching this? Is he going to watch
No,
it?
he's not watching this. He's born in '49. He has an old phone. He doesn't have internet or blah blah blah. So he's in the old generation, probably the boomer generation. Of course, there are boomer generations that have internet, but he's not really. And also to tell that it's also because he cannot barely really type a text with his smartphone because he's shaking. So sometimes it's not easy, but I'm dedicated in to my dad because my dad is my hero. I will unfold that in another time, but I had not an easy life, and he was the only one because my mom passed away. So blah blah. So really, he's my hero.
Well, we are all sending him love and healing energy. So and you, I know it's heavy on your heart that he's not doing well. So we're sending you lots of love as well.
Thank you. And everyone, keep shining. Take your time to nurture yourself, to connect with your inner heart, with the little prince within you that you see right now. This is the little prince. And to enjoy life each day at a time. Because I wish I can say that see you later within the next 40 years, but I can also leave this world in 4 days. So I met some friends in my journey that are not anymore in this world. So enjoy the life and always having fun. This life is too serious sometimes. So we have to have fun.
We have to have fun. So go have fun and get you some joy in your life. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.